This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Are ready to rock. There he is. He's the stud. He is Alain Poupart, always styling the Montreal Expos hat. There you go. He's ready to rock. I'm going tonight to Squeeze and Holland Oats. Do you like either?
Strong.
Do you like either?
Black coffee in bed. Love black coffee in bed.
Yes.
Yeah, I like both actually. Strong.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite Holland Oats song?
I guess I'm being a bad dad if I don't immediately say Sarah Smiles, considering that's my daughter's name.
That's a great song, dude.
It is a great song. Wow, I don't know. Maneater, maybe?
Great bass.
Top of my head, yeah. Maneater, very catchy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I went with Sarah Smiles.
I went with Rich Girl. I Can't Go For That is another one that I love that song. That's a great song. How about Squeeze? Black Coffee in Bed? Is that what it is?
Oh, by far, I love black coffee in bed.
Although I would like to hear Tempted, but sung by I know Glenn will sing it tonight. I'm sure and he does a great job singing Tempted, but it's always better when now I'm brain farting.
Paul Carrick.
Paul Carrick does it, man. When I went to Paris, I had a chance. Paul Carrick was performing, but the problem was it was like 70 miles away, and I wasn't going to rent a car and drive 70 miles to the place. I didn't feel like doing that, but I almost went to go see Paul Carrick because he would have sung a little Squeeze, a little Mike and the Mechanics, and then he would have sung what's that? What's the band he was in before all of that? Damn it, now I'm forgetting. How long has this been going on? I forgot.
Yeah. It escapes me.
Isn't it like a 3-letter band, like a word, like it's only 3 letters or something? It's like it's a really short name for his band.
Not 10cc.
No, it's not.
CC.
No, it's not 10cc. Somebody help me out there. What's damn it, what is Paul Carrick's oh God. Damn it. Anyway, so I almost saw him, and I really wanted to go see him because he's so good, dude. Obviously, you look at his catalog and where he's been. He's been Ace. Thank you, Ace. That was it. They're Tuttle Army, Dean G, Equo, whatever you put there. I don't know what your name is there. Ray, thank you all for chiming in with Ace. That is strong. See, that's the kind of listeners we have there. They're coming in strong with all of that. All right. So yesterday you were able to talk to the offensive line coach. I watched the press conference overall. I mean, he said all the right things. I know there's some reports now that they're going to move Eichenberg over to left guard. How do you interpret all of that?
I interpret this as they need to find a solution because let's be honest, it's not just about the game against the Bills, which obviously was a disaster. But this line has been an issue going back to training camp. You and I had those discussions. It was a concern heading into the regular season. The line overall performed okay against New England. Not great, but okay. And then against Buffalo, it was a disaster. And you look, and I understand the move of Solomon Kinley, who was pulled for the last 7 snaps of the game, by the way, in favor of Robert Jones. To me, as I look at that line, and this is without like breaking down and going over and over and over the game film, Austin Jackson's the one who's like a major issue right now. I mean, holy smokes, the guy can't block anybody. That's a major problem. Solomon Kinley had a rough game against Buffalo. That was very obvious as well. Everybody did, actually. Even Robert Hunt, who blocked okay, but had 2 penalties. So complete disaster, and they have to do something. And you drafted Eichenberg for a reason, so it makes perfect sense to get him in there. As you and I discussed last week, I'm not so sure I wouldn't just put Eichenberg at right tackle and move Jesse Davis to left guard. I kind of like that scenario better than just replacing Kinley with Eichenberg, but I'm not the O-line coach, and they didn't ask for my opinion on this.
No, and my thinking is what they're doing is that they move the kid over to the left side because that's where he's played. So habitually, it'll be a quicker and more natural move to stay left because he's so used to doing everything left. And on right, he's probably not comfortable yet. So they said, hey, man, why are we going to put the kid to be learning? Let's put him somewhere where at least he's somewhat comfortable on the left side, and we'll put him at guard. I think that's what they're trying to do right now. They're grasping right now. Because they just don't know who's who and who belongs where right now. And this is the sad part about all of this. And by the way, this is all from last year, not even this training camp. This has been going on since last year because obviously all these young guys came in last year. So how do you also adjust to all of this? Are you expecting to see more max protect? One of the things that I told you and I talked about throughout the week leading up to the Patriots game was I thought because of the line, I thought they would change the launch point for Tua, and they never did. And I don't know if Tua's going to play or not, but if he does play, why not move the pocket a little bit? You know what I mean? And adjust the coverage on the line to go with it. You know what I mean? If he's going to go right, then have somebody swing over to the right and pick up somebody on the edge just in case, whether it's a running back or a tight end or something like that. But do something to at least change it up and not let that defense know, okay, he's going to be at this spot every single time.
Well, yeah, and how bad is it that on the first play of the game, Ethan Carter goes in motion from the left of the offensive line to the right, and that's where the free blitzer comes in with a free path at Tua, who, by the way, doesn't pick him up even though he's coming from his open side. So now is this a bad play? Is it a bad scheme? Is it bad recognition on the part of Tua and or Michael Dieter making the line calls? But that was very ugly, and that's your first play of the game right there. And the issues were like, again, I think you'd have to go execution, scheme, communication, everything went wrong in that particular game. And yeah, no question. I think rolling out Tua if he plays or Jacoby Brissett if he plays certainly is an option, but you still have to block people up front. And now they're going against a Vegas team whose pass rush early in the season has been a whole lot better than that of Buffalo's. So obviously this is not a very favorable matchup heading into this game.
Yeah, I think that the two teams they just played are probably stronger up the middle, but these guys on the edges with Ngakoue and that Max guy who's looks like a freaking maniac coming out off the corner. I would agree with you. The ends are going to be one hell of a test, and the aforementioned Austin Jackson is going to be tested. What about Jesse Davis? How healthy is he? And are you expecting him to play?
Well, here's the thing is, and Brian Flores said Monday that it didn't look like the injuries to either Jesse Davis or Jakeem Grant were serious. Tuesday is the day if the injuries are of some significance, you'll see guy put on IR because it's only for 3 weeks. And that didn't happen yesterday, which leads me to believe that there's a chance, certainly, that Davis and or Grant could play against the Raiders. Now, having said that, and you got Jesse out there at right tackle trying to block Max Crosby.
Whew.
That's kind of iffy. And then the other side, are we really trusting Austin Jackson to be able to block Ngakoue? Like I said, bad matchups. They're going to have to maybe max protect, do a whole lot of different things, a lot of very quick throws. Quick wide receiver screens, maybe some. I didn't see the jet sweep against the Bills. Maybe that needs to come back. So there are things that can be done to minimize, the matchup being so much in the Raiders' favor, but you still have to execute no matter what the scheme winds up being. Yeah,
no, I'm with you there. You overall, Will Fuller now. What are you hearing? He'll play, but are we expecting him to be himself because he's had injuries throughout? He's been limited in camp. Now he was out for a week for personal reasons. The good thing is he's back now. I don't think he's going to be as active as you would like him to be. Correct?
Yeah, it's impossible to expect him to come in and light it up right away. If you're expecting 4 catches for 110 yards right off the bat for a guy who barely practiced in the summer, didn't practice at all the week of the opener, and then had one practice last week. I think that's a little unrealistic. If he's able to contribute at all on offense on Sunday, I think that would be a bonus. And then as the weeks progress down the road, that's when you want to see some major contributions from the guy.
And also remember, because he's injury prone, you're gonna have to ease him in. You don't want to overuse him too, because you could easily re-injure him.
No, that's true. By the same token, you need production, and if you're going to win games, I understand. Trust me, I understand being careful. And here's the other issue that I'm not sure got talked about enough Sunday in light of the injury to Tua and the poor performance by the offensive line. But that supposed very good wide receiver core was garbage on Sunday. And Dolphins ain't beating many teams if Albert Wilson's dropping 2 passes, Jakeem is fumbling, Devontae Parker can't make a very, very makeable catch in the end zone. Jalen Waddle drops 2 passes. And then Preston Williams is not looking anywhere remotely like himself. So, yeah, a lot of work to be done in that wide receiver core. So, but, yeah, absolutely, you take it easy with Fuller to make sure you don't overstress him right away. But at some point, he's going to need to contribute.
Dude, what was it asked? Why do they keep using Jakeem at wide receiver?
It was not asked, and then no, it's a completely fair question, and it's also a fair question to ask. Why are you running that route a yard short of the sticks on 3rd down near the goal line with Jakeem Grant, who's not going to break a tackle unless he's got wide open space around him? That absolutely, is a legitimate point. And no, it has not been asked, and I can assure you that the answer would be because we feel he can contribute to the offense and help us win.
Okay, so then why hasn't Mac Hollins played more then? Because I got to be honest, he's earned more of my respect and than Jakeem and Albert Wilson have. I would trust him more in these kind of situations after watching him last year and in this preseason. I think the kid's grown into the position. I think he's a pretty tough damn kid, bro. And I think he gets a first down for you right there where Jakeem was at. You know what I'm saying? I think everything is better when you play him over those 2 cats right now. Why isn't he playing? That I wonder needs to be asked too.
That's a great question. And I don't get it. Especially Jakeem has proven year after year after year he's not dependable as a wide receiver. Sorry, but that's the truth. Albert Wilson had a bad game on Sunday with the drops. That's not necessarily been an issue with him before. The issue with him has been staying healthy. So right. I don't have as much of an issue with him maybe still being ahead of Mac Hollins in the pecking order unless he continues to show that drops are a problem. But to me, there's no justification for Mac Hollins being behind Jakeem. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and is Albert Wilson active this week?
That's a very, very, very good question. Because I can't see them having 7 active wide receivers.
He doesn't do anything on special teams. So if you're going to activate Will Fuller and Preston, and you can alternate those guys out there instead, right, and mix in a little Mac Hollins, I mean, and that way the burden is on neither one of the 2 guys, and then Preston and Fuller and Mac can kind of share it all, and that way you can kind of split up the reps, keep Parker on one side and Waddle in the slot, and you got Gesicki, and you can kind of rotate with those guys. That's what I would do, and I would have this guy inactive, and then Jakeem, your special teams, dude. That's all you do.
No, that's fair. Then that's a very strong possibility. But also remember that Jakeem dealing with an ankle injury. Again, it's not severe. He's day to day. If he's not at full speed, how much does he help you as a returner if he's not at full speed? In that case, wouldn't it make more sense to keep Albert Wilson active?
Yeah, but Albert's not a returner, right? So,
I understand that.
But Jakeem, at least at 80 or 90%, is faster than most of the league anyways. So I would keep him. Anyway, didn't he get injured probably as a receiver, not as a damn returner? That's another reason why. That's the other thing that is also a knock on Jakeem too, by the way, that on the first 2 years where you've used him as a returner and as a wide receiver, he's kind of worn down, and he's actually picked up injuries. There are multiple reasons why you shouldn't overuse him. One, he can't catch, and the other one, he wears down too, right?
Totally fair. I really wish I could argue with your point right there, but it's such a good point. I can't.
All right. Gesicki, they kind of schemed him out of this one this past week because they needed more blocking, obviously, and they didn't get that either. But I would imagine that Gesicki will be a big part of the offense this week against the Raiders.
You know what? I don't know about that because I think the one who's a safety valve these days is more Jalen Waddle than Gesicki was last year, particularly when Fitzpatrick was a quarterback. And I kind of think that Gesicki is the type of guy who is going to have some weeks where he may get more catches, but I think the big bust-out games like he had a couple of times last year, I'm not sure those are in the cards, I'll be honest with you. And I think that might be a mistake, and maybe it'll be different with Brissett at quarterback if it winds up being him instead of Tua, who I think tends to look for Waddle a bit more. But they have a weapon there with Gesicki as a receiving tight end, and it certainly would make sense to use him.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of reliability also with Gesicki. He is reliable. He'll make tough catches. I mean, last year, dude, when he came back from that shoulder and made that catch, I was like, okay, dude, you're a badass. You've arrived. Like, okay, now you showed me, not only were you a good player, not only do you have athleticism, but you showed me some serious toughness last year. And I would figure that these quarterbacks, well, Brissett just got here, but I would figure Tua has to look at that guy like, okay, I can count on that guy. Last week, I couldn't count on anybody overall. Everybody was dropping it. Gesicki doesn't have that reputation for me.
No, and not only that, but if you look at some of the catches he made last week, I mean, a couple of those, he picked those balls off, I mean, very close to the ground. And when the ball got to Gesicki, like I remember 2 of his 3 catches was like, there's no way he's going to catch that. And he went down and got it. Those were really nice catches, and he's gotten really, really good at those. And so, yeah, like I said, I think he needs to be somebody who needs to be very involved in the game plan. I just don't know that that's how the Dolphins see it for some reason.
All right, after watching the film, my brother, your assessment of Jalen Phillips, again, way too early to make any kind of assessment on the kid, but we do know so far through the first 2 weeks, he's not doing anything. So what do you see from the kid?
I maybe seeing a guy who is maybe a little bit overloaded with assignments and maybe overthinking. And again, if you drafted him to be the pass rusher, why don't you let just the kid go? Go. You see the quarterback over there, go get him. But right now, no, you're right. He's gotten very, very little done. You barely notice him on the field. And this is a guy who was drafted 18th overall. And I understand it's a complex defense. They throw a lot of different looks. But I think he played 18 snaps against Buffalo. I think you got to get more production out of your first round pick than that. And I don't care how complex the defense is and how many intricacies there are, but you drafted the guy for a reason.
And do you see anybody, because Flo doesn't screw around. If you're not producing and helping him win, he will then put somebody else in there and make you earn it back overall. Do you see somebody taking his time even more this week if things start to go in the same direction?
Who do they have that you would put in his role as the edge defender?
That's why I'm asking you.
I don't know. I don't think Brendan Scarlett's the guy who's gonna displace Jalen Phillips
from the line.
Yeah, but he played. If I remember correctly, he played maybe a couple more snaps than Phillips. Did you notice him out there on Sunday? I sure didn't.
No, special teams only is where I like him right now, at least.
No, correct. So no, I think the idea is, let's get the kid to improve, and maybe we'll see more impact as the weeks go by. But again, it's 2 weeks in, so if we're gonna preach patience for other parts of the team, we have to do the same with Jalen Phillips. To be fair.
All right, we'll wrap it up with this. I know people want to see Tua play. Tua has his own injury reputation that he has to also overcome. they've been very patient on this team, and they've been very cautious with all injuries so far. Obviously, you got to protect the player from himself, but there's got to be inner pressure for the kid to want to go out there and prove, no, I'm not fragile and all. Remember the whole Devontae Parker two concussions and all that stuff, and he came back the next week and played and all that, and people were like, holy crap. And I think Devontae had that in him too, that he had all these injury history stuff, and to his credit, he still gets kind of banged up, but he has fought through injuries more than ever now. And you give him a lot of credit for that. His body is his body. How do you think Tua wants to handle this? How do you think the Dolphins want to handle this week?
I don't think there's any question that Tua wants to play unless he can't breathe. So from that standpoint, I don't think there's any question whatsoever. I think if you ask Tua, he'll be like, I'm playing, I can play. I think this is where the Dolphins need to be smart. Again, we're talking about one game. If you are you going to put him back there, I don't want to say fragile is not the word I'm thinking of, but a little bit wounded behind an offensive line that needs to show you it can protect the quarterback. I know Brian Flores said Monday we go into every game thinking confident that we can protect the quarterback. Well, that's the goal. The reality is that protection's an issue, and if we have a guy that we are hoping is our franchise quarterback, and he's got bruised ribs, I'm not sure putting him back in there if he's not 100% or close to it makes a whole lot of sense until you can have more realistic confidence in that offensive line. So Tua says, absolutely, I'm playing if I'm the Dolphins. If he's not completely right or close to it, Tua sits.
All right, it'll be interesting today to see him practice if he's out there slinging it around, and it'll be interesting to see what you guys write on who is the starting offensive line and what spots they're in too. I'm looking forward to that note from you guys in practice today. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL and catch him twice a week here with the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. Alain, thank you, my brother. You're a stud. Have some fun. And go Expos.
Sounds good. Thank you, Big O.
You got it, my brother. There you go. Alain Poupart, baby. And our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. Love Alain, man. He does excellent work.